One, and I guess that's the danger here today. It's getting that balance right between going zonal, going man to man, when to pressurise players and when not. But there's a serious fight in this tSuilI team. So same two teams as last year's final, and the majority of players that played in that are here again today. So yeah, hope
27. There's only 3 starters. Sin and Quinn from Four Masters is the only one that they don't have available from last year, and for tSuilI, Jake Kelly and Ashi McDade, who coincidentally is a first cousin of Keelan and Darren McDade that play with the local tournament club here. There are only 2 players that are missing.
And tSuilI are playing against that breeze early on, man. So this is all about game management here in this match. Four Masters here, they're talking to the ref.
There's a bit of confusion because I see Sin and Carr up this side here.
It looks like they're turning around. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I could see the Four Masters players saying the ref, hold on a second, we're going this way. So it's actually Four Masters that'll be playing against the breeze. Brendan, in this first half.
Yeah, and as Lewis McGahan makes his way down with his footballs down to what we call the road goals, Four Masters defending the road goals, kicking into the clubhouse, the new fantastic clubhouse goals, and tSuilI will be defending that goal, so they will, and they'll have a job at that inside forward line of Four Masters, so will McCahill and Sin and Carr in particular.
Yes, indeed, Brian. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many match winners in this squad here of Four Masters, but certainly, it's a one-half championship game, and then if anything, Four Masters were to go into a lead, we've seen tSuilI fight back many times before, so it's all about, I think, particularly with this breeze today, is about a game management. They want, in this half to certainly slow the game down and restrict the scoring power.
Yeah, and we're away. Cahill Boland throws the ball into the middle of the park. Conor Reid contests it. There's a bit of a shamazel about it, but eventually comes away with the number 9 Dara Enright for tSuilI. He gives it to Donald Gallagher. He lays it down the field and it's caught. Moved back up the field, and it's now with Conor Reid in possession of the ball. Oh no, it's actually Thomas Carr in possession of the ball. Thomas Carr takes a couple of solos, look to see what his options are. He has Cian Gavigan out here wide. Cian Gavigan in loads of space out wide as tSuilI try to get their defensive structure in place. He decides there's nothing on, comes back out and plays the ball to number 12, who is Turlough Carr, brother of Thomas and Sin, obviously, and Conor McCahill coming out deep for the ball here, trying to get on the ball early. It's always good for an inside forward to get early touches, Brendan, as you know. Yeah,
certainly. McCall's one of those dangerous men. They're out around the edge of the D there, keeping balls, you say, Brendan. They're facing against into that tough breeze, so tSuilI know they're going to have to work the ball inside, and you can just see so they're looking to get a sweeper across, looking to get spare cover in there against the danger man.
They are indeed, and anything that's covered, there's nothing really on. They're going to have to be very astute in moments that they attack against that wind. And on the ball here now is Thomas Carr, looking to see what his options are. He gives it to his brother, and it's back now at David Monaghan. David Monaghan gives it Callum Sticky McRae, played centre back for Donegal under 20s this year in Ulster final against Tyrone. Back with Thomas Carr on the ball. Looking to see it's Kevin Muldoon, actually. David Monaghan now with the ball. He plays it back to Carr. Carr gives it on to Keelan Sweeney. Keelan Sweeney looking to see what his options are. Keelan Sweeney, the ATU student, playing Sigerson this year with ATU, played Freshers last year. He gives it back to the number 12 again, which is Turlough Carr. Again, moving the ball around and put under pressure. tSuilI making it very difficult for them. Dahi Gildea just getting a late tackle in there. The ref has spotted it. He's playing advantage. It's with David Monaghan now out around the 65. He looks to attack again to see what the options are, but there's nothing opening up for him. Gives the ball back to number 9, who is Thomas Carr. To distinguish between these Carr, Thomas and Turlough kind of are like, so they are, particularly on a wet day when your glasses are getting all rainy. So
yeah. But listen, for Masters keeping the ball around tSuilI can't get in enough to get a tackle off McCahill. Going to have a strike now from distance.
Yeah, did well to take the man on. That's a super score from Conor McCahill, and that just shows you the quality he has, Brendan. Brilliant score to open up the scoring. Yeah,
on what we would call its weaker foot there, Brendan. Listen, what a brilliant score from McCahill there. He's such a dangerous man coming in that right hand side there. And again, Brendan, even though it's the breeze is against them, it's Four Masters have owned the ball in these opening couple of minutes, and that's the first score on the board. So tSuili's tactic is sitting in and trying to nullify the threats. It's this half, Ben, they really got to get possession and go after Four Masters.
Yeah, you would think that they're going to have to get scores on the board, and they have their first possession maybe now. A bit of a schmozzle around the middle of the field again, but again it's the Four Masters player who comes away with the ball, and it's David Monaghan. Normally plays in the defence for the Four Masters team. And here's Keelan Sweeney again, we're number 2 coming up the wing, and he gives it off to his number 12, Turlock Carr. Turlock Carr, of course, brother into his brother Senan Carr. Senan to see what his options are, but he's double covered. He gives it back to Keelan Sweeney, who gives it back to Turlock Carr. Referee has spotted something, and he's adjudged that there was a foul there against number 8, who is Mark Boner. Mark Boner, of course, had a really good season for GleanSuilI seniors throughout the senior championship, Brendan.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's probably one of the reasons McCall was maybe left on the bench last week, Brendan, because there's so many games being played, between colleges and senior, and you're involved in under 21s here, so there's a balancing act with a lot of these guys, because they've been playing county as well, Ben, so they're involved in a lot of teams there, so it's a matter of trying to keep them fresh, even if they're not sure, even if they want to play themselves, sometimes you've got to hold them back.
That's exactly it, Brendan. He was on the ball again then, he gives it back to his colleague Turlock Carr. He goes to ground, and GleanSuilI eventually get their hands on the ball, move it, but again it's a bad turnover, given back to GleanSuilI, and it's in the hands of Thomas Carr now. Thomas Carr getting right in a bound, but again Mark Bonner does really well there, moves the ball off, and it's with GleanSuilI now as they launch it down the field. It's a long high ball, and it goes down, and it's won eventually by Shane Tinney in the corner forward, we're number 13, but immediately he's blocked out by 3 men. He gives the ball back, and it's into Dahi Gilday. Dahi, seeing what his options are, shrugs off a couple of challenges, beats them and puts it over the bar. Brilliant start for Dahi Gilday. We spoke about Conor McCahill getting a good start. Dahi Gilday gets his first score of the game.
Yeah, great score from Gilday. That's just what GleanSuilI needed to say. Brilliant from Tinney there. He won that ball under pressure around on a wet day. Like that first ball comes in, you got to win it, hold it in tight. It was a cycle. Gilday had 3 or 4 players around him there, Ben, but listen, he's no doubt, he's the danger man inside, and you can see when he get the ball there, even though he had 3 or 4 around him, he knew what he was doing. He took the tackles, and he shepherded the ball over the bar, and you've seen the breeze there, Brendan. He just literally popped the ball up and it went right over the bar.
Yeah, and now there's been a foul down here. The Four Masters keeper shifted talents. I think it was from Shane Tinney. He was going for the ball. Cathal Boland is blowing his ref. Lewis McGahan is down. He will have a free. I was looking at him taking kickouts. He was taking them from the clubhouse end. He was landing them around the middle of the field, but against that breeze, it didn't make the 45, and GleanSuilI get a fist in it to put it back in, put a bit of pressure on them, Brendan.
Yeah, indeed. I think just got to, it's one of them ones, Brendan, the kidney surgery used to call it there. Sometimes you have the ball in the arms, the tackle comes in and you're unguarded, and you get it into the soft part of the side there. But as you said, what a season McGahan's having, Brendan. He's a serious talent to be at that level already. We watched him there for Abbey the other night, coming out and kicking long range points as well. So he's got a bit of a read in his locker, and certainly he is a keeper for not just for now, but certainly you'd think he's going to be a serious star of the future.
Absolutely, and playing minor, under 21 and senior for his club, plus for his college, for Abbey VS in the McCrory Cup. He's getting a lot of experience. Had him in with the minors a number of years ago. Really top lad, really good fella.
He would have learned a lot from you then.
On a goalkeeping issue, not really, Brendan, no.
You might have been doing a bit of shooting practice on him.
I actually was, yeah. I always like to keep an eye on that.
That handy left peg of yours is still working well, I would say, and alive and well.
So, linesman here speaking to Cathal Boland, the referee. Something happened in the middle of the field. Callum McRae, the centre half back for Four Masters, holds the ball. Cathal Boland speaking to GleanSuilI, number 9. Who's Dara Enright, and I can't see which. It's one of the Carr lads, Thomas Carr too. So referee says all's good, let's get on with it, let's get back to playing a bit of football. Callum McRae sent back to the 21 where the foul occurred, trying to steal a few yards. Of course this will suit Glen Four Masters to slow the game down, Brendan.
Just thinking that, Brendan, because at this point, with the breeze, you've got to make the most of it. You've got to get the ball in play as much as possible and create opportunities, but at the minute Four Masters been very cute with a bit of game management there, as you said, Brendan, this last couple of minutes, just running down the clock a bit.
Yeah, and David Monaghan in possession of the ball here, coming up the wing, taking his solos. He's faced by Owen Scott. He makes him make a decision. He plays it into Callum McRae. Kevin Muldoon's off the shoulder. He gives it out to Turlock Carr. Turlock Carr takes a couple of solos, saw that the pathway was blocked to goal, so he looks to see what his options are. Again, been put under pressure by Mark Bonner, and it's now Kevin Muldoon in possession of the ball. Kevin had a huge championship campaign for Four Masters seniors. We know the quality he possesses. He plays it back to Turlock Carr, and it's back with Tiernan McBride, the big man playing out around the middle of the park. Probably feel the need him out there at this stage of the game, leaving the inside line to the likes of Senan Carr, Conor McCahill, these type of nippy forwards that they have inside. So it's now Kevin Muldoon again in possession. He shifts a heavy knock to the head from Mark Bonner, and again the break the play is going to be stopped. So it's been a bit stop-start, Brendan, a bit few heavy hits, and they're harder to take on a cold day.
Yeah, that was accidental. It was a clash of heads.
Absolutely, yeah.
Notice Gleann SuilI didn't flinch at all. He was going to head on, but listen, it's probably where it hit Muldoon there, just on the side temple there. It definitely shook him a bit, Brendan. But just looking at Four Masters early on there, they're so comfortable on the ball. You know, outside of the talent that we know is there, you can see how much coaching is going on with them, because every one of them is very, very comfortable. He can drop the shoulder, create a bit of space for himself, allowing you to wait and play the pass that you want and not be pressured under. So that's what's been so difficult for Gleann SuilI early on. You just see it there now. Every player looks like he has a serious ability on the ball. So even if it's not one of the stars, they're still asking questions of the opposite number.
Absolutely, Brendan. You know, very well said. You know, I'm looking at the number 2, Keelan Sweeney. We had him with the freshers last year. He was fast to mark Noah Grimes. He did a brilliant job on him, so he did. That ball has gone in there, contested, well won by the full-back Jamie McCauley for Gleann SuilI. He plays it to Owen Scott, back to Mark Boner. Mark Boner launches it down. You can see that's a tactic that Gleann SuilI are going to use, particularly with that breeze, get the ball in early. But on this occasion, it's well picked up by the number 7, Cian Gavin, and of course played in the minor team a couple of weeks ago that won the Donegal Minor Championship. He's in possession of the ball, classy little player too, and played really well, so got a lot of game time for Four Master seniors throughout the league and championship this year. Ball played out wide, Turlock Carr over the far wing, again looking to see what his options are. Again another member of that winning minor side. The ball is played into Conor McCall, started behind his man, somehow got it back in front of him, tried to clip it up into his hands, did brilliantly well. What a skill, what a player footballer this is. But again, good work from Gleann SuilI. They are putting pressure on, but the ball is back in the hands of Four Masters men again. Battle for possession around the middle of the park, and it's Dahi Gildea playing out deep. He gives it off to Donald Gallagher, inspirational captain that Donald Gallagher is. 9.5 minutes into this first half here, and again we've another battle around the middle of the field, a clash of heads. It looks between Donald Gallagher and is it Callum McRae maybe that's down, I'm not sure, and the Four Masters I can't see who's down. Donald Gallagher, a tough defender for Gleann SuilI. He's going to rouse his troops, so make sure that he gets all out of them today. Yeah,
and Brendan, even in these opening 10 minutes, it already looks like every ball is critical for Gleann SuilI. You know, that last moment, then the previous attack that they got to score from Shane Tunney did brilliantly, wanted to take ball. Now that time, Matthew Enright, now difficult conditions, he tried to take that hopping ball, it was knocked away from him. The sweeper was back, and then Gavigan, he said, picking up the pieces, but it seems like every ball seems to be vital for Gleann SuilI, because they're going to have to profit when they get possession.
They are indeed, and again it's back in possession here now of Four Masters. Kevin Muldoon trying to slip a ball through to Conor McCahill, but it's intercepted by the Gleann SuilI defence, and they have possession now as they try and come out with the ball and create something up the far side of the field. Shane Tinney back playing in his own back line, we're number 30, but the ball now is with Donald Gallagher. He plays it out wide here to his corner back, and it's played up to Reid Kelly. Reid Kelly looks up to see what his options are, plays it into Dahi Gildea, does well to get out in front of his man. He plays it back to Reid Kelly. Reid Kelly puts the ball in. Owen Scott lurking about in there, but there is another man in there, and it's the number 19 Matthew Enright. He has a chance of a goal. He slams it. He does not on his first attempt, his second attempt, ends up on the back of the net. A huge score for Gleann SuilI.
What a massive score there, as you say. Enright keeping his cool inside there, but that pass wasn't meant for him, and I think it was dropped inside to the other corner forward. It was coming out there, but it went over everybody's head. Enright went in and around the back of the defence. It landed in his arms. He kept his cool. He stepped inside the first man. He took the shot, which was blocked, but it came straight back to him, and he put it into the corner of the net. And that's a massive score in this game. It's something you feel early on that Gleann SuilI really, really needed, and it'll be good for the game. That round, it'll be good for the Gleann SuilI confidence.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, we've said that they're looking to put this ball direct in as quick as they can and off as they can, particularly in this first half. But that kick out from Lewis McGahan is won by David Monaghan. He plays it out here, out to the swing. It's Turlock Carr in possession of the ball. He's looking to see what his options are. There aren't too many of them about. He plays it out to the far wing, and it's Callum Sticky McRae in possession of the ball. He attacks, looking to see what his options are, but again been put under pressure by Owen Scott. Aidan Friel moves it along, and it's back with Turlock Carr in possession of the ball. Again, conditions here not very conducive to fast moving football, Brendan, but both teams coping adequately so far. David Monaghan now in possession of the ball. We're number 11, gives the ball to Thomas Carr. Thomas Carr takes on his man Enright. He beats him, but then the ball proves too slippery for him, and he goes down, and is adjudged correctly by the referee Cathal Boland to have picked that off the ground. He was running into traffic. There was a platter of Gleann SuilI men there that he was going to have to face. Donald Gallagher gets the free. He plays it out to Reid Kelly. Reid Kelly taking a touch, seeing what his options are. Plays it out the far side, but that's a bad ball, so it is. That's a poor ball, and it's in the hands of Turlock Carr. Turlock Carr gives it on to David Monaghan, to Senan Carr, to his brother Senan Carr. He takes his man on, he has advantage, and he just goes through the centre of the defence and puts it over the bar. Good response to the goal from Gleann.
But again, man, going back to that thing about critical balls, you know, that was of Gleann own making, and they have tried to kick the ball out of defence, but a blustery day like that, when you've got to be very cautious with the ball, because if you put it up in the air at all, it's going to get dragged away from its target, and that's what happened there. If you pop it up, it's going to get pulled away, and it goes straight into the arms of Four Masters. And you've seen the quality of Carr there, when he said it was a free in anyway, but he rode the tackles and with the top of his foot, that was a skill on the run. He plants it over the bar, and again, Four Masters are really dominating the kick out.
Yeah, it was Callum McRae on that occasion. He gave it off to McBride. McBride gave it off to Turlock Carr. Turlock Carr now in possession. He gives it to Senan. Senan loses his foot, but he's supported by Conor McCahill. He has a spot shot with the outside of his foot, but it just goes wide. Again, indicative of the poor conditions here. Just couldn't get the shot, get good connection on that shot.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's the first wide of the game, because Four Masters have owned the ball, but they certainly haven't been. They can't shoot against that breeze too easily, so they have been working the ball in as best they can to try and create the right opportunity. So yeah, Four Masters, to say, are dominating the ball and the kick out, and this one is broken, and tSuilI have got their hands on it.
Yeah.
So they really got to build up something in this first half.
And that's played long. Mikey Toner plays it in long, but the Four Masters cornerback, we're number 4, Owen O'Neill out in front, another member of that county winning under minor championship, and the referee has decided that he overcarried it, and it's a free for tSuilI right down in the corner of the field on the 14-yard line. This will be a difficult kick, but Shane Tinney is a proper kicker, so he will give this a good shot, but it is very difficult. The conditions really making this difficult to even see the game, never mind kickball.
Everything's soaked in here now. we'll need their backup on our team sheets, I think, in the second half.
Shane Tinney puts it up, it's going to drop short. That can be dangerous. We've seen that in previous games. It's won by Mark Bonner, but he lays it off, and it's picked up by the Four Masters. Conor Reid in possession of the ball. He gives it off to Turlock Carr, playing very deep, high press here from tSuilI. They're all up, so they are. They're trying to make it very difficult for Four Masters. David Monaghan possession of the ball. David Monaghan plays it off to Keelan Sweeney. Keelan Sweeney through the hands back to David Monaghan. What a brilliant play from Four Masters on that occasion. And Callum McRae attacking the wing here. David Monaghan gives them the spots and gives it to them. Callum McRae takes a touch. He gives it off to Kevin Muldoon. Kevin Muldoon is brilliantly tackled, but Four Masters retain possession of the ball again back with Callum McRae. He gives the ball out to Conor McCahill. Conor McCahill taking a touch, no way through there, so it's the tSuilI defence. He's tackled then, and eventually there's a foul goes in. The Four Masters player down injured, as is the tSuilI player. Good play coming up the wing that time from Four Masters. Yeah. Really well worked, because there was a high press from tSuilI to make it difficult for them to get out, Brendan.
Yeah, and just, they're, as I say, ran so good on the ball all over the pitch. Even when tSuilI came after them inside, you just noticed the cornerback pulling out of the way, giving that option so you could get away from the press, because tSuilI had left bodies up and tried to put the pressure on them. But that last thing, that's, I suppose, the only danger about playing this time of year, and you talk about conditions and different things, it can be dangerous for players. That was 2 players slipping there, and they've definitely given each other a knock. You know, it's the conditions in terms of that type of a tackle. Sometimes a player can pick up an injury here, so hopefully the 2 lads are all right and can play on. But that's the only thing about these conditions, when they can be dangerous in terms of 2 players coming in meeting each other head on for a tackle. Yeah,
and I note here that we've had Dara Enright for tSuilI has picked up an injury and has gone off, and he's been replaced by number 17, Paddy Ward. Big man. Paddy played in the minor final 2 also a couple of weeks ago, so he did, Brendan. So that's an enforced change for tSuilI, and losing a big man around the middle of the field, you know, where they are kind of struggling somewhat. So far in the game won't help them, Brendan.
No, definitely not, Brendan. You know, so many things have to go right today to overturn this very talented Four Masters team. So losing one of your big men hasn't been a help, because Four Masters have really dominated the kick out as well, which, as we see in every match we cover, Brendan, is such a launch pad. And even though they're facing into this really stiff breeze after that opening quarter, you know, there was only the 2 points in it, and maybe in some ways the goal was small but fortuitous for Gleann as well.
Kevin Muldoon with the free, didn't really make good contact on it. Did the Gleann man pick it up off the ground? No, the referee has decided to give him a free out. Gleann sweating a wee bit too. I'm looking at Donald Gallagher, he's their inspirational leader, seems to be carried a knock from that last incident, Brendan, so hopefully Gleann will be hoping that he can get back on his feet. But they're in possession of the ball now, and it's with that man Paddy Ward. He plays it out on the wing here, and it's with corner back number 2, who is Liam McGinley. Liam McGinley plays it out here to midfielder Enright, or Mark Boner. Mark Boner plays it across, but it's intercepted on that occasion by Thomas Carr. He clips it off soccer style out to Conor McCahill. He's going to stop it going over the line. He is in a bit of space, but he's well out in the wing here. A bit of work to get into the shooting zone, so he has. Conor won't be afraid of that. He's taken on his man. Plays the ball back out to David Monaghan. David Monaghan plays it back to Cian Gavigan. Cian Gavigan in possession of the ball. He moves it across to Thomas Carr. Thomas Carr moves it over across the field to his brother Thurlock, and it eventually finds its way to Kevin Muldoon, unmarked on the far side of the field. Brilliantly worked score from Four Masters. That is quality football on that conditions, Brendan.
Yes, indeed, Brendan. Listen, he just switched the play around the far side and a straightforward kick. Now, Brendan, just as he went to hit it, the breeze seemed to die a small bit, but you just look at everyone in the Four Masters team looks like they can beat a man, take a score, and that is why they're doing so well, even against this gale force breeze here. There's only a point in it now, Brendan, and Four Masters definitely will be very happy with how this half has gone so far. Yeah,
and I see Donald Gallagher, from that last lock coming off, and he's such a huge player for them. He's a massive loss, so he is, in this county semi-final. Plays with such courage and such enthusiasm anytime he does play. So huge loss for Gleann, and he's replaced by the number 18, who is Mandy Kelly. So a couple of early blows for Gleann, Brendan.
Yeah, listen, as I say, Brendan, not what you would have wanted there today, because again, Four Masters have won the kick out, Brendan, and at the minute they're absolutely dominating possession, which means Gleann can't get creating opportunities. They're controlling the ball. So Gleann living off scraps. There's no doubt when they get it inside, Brendan, they look dangerous one-on-one, particularly Dahi Gilday in there. So it's a matter of just trying to get service up to him, and it's almost a link ball in between, which is where it's broken down a few times. Gleann need a link man to turn to control possession and then get it inside to that full forward line.
Yeah, and that's a well contested there from Paddy Ward after coming into the field. A sideline kick, but it's a judge now that it's a Gleann ball. Referee now, because one of the Gleann guys got getting involved here, he might decide that he wants to throw the ball up. No, he's sending them back to where he feels the sideline ball should be taken from. So it's Reid Kelly in possession of the ball, looking up to see what his options are. Difficult to get the ball inside. He plays it back to Aidan Friel. Aidan Friel go back to Reid Kelly. He's going to be swamped out now if he's not careful. He's not doubled up, he's trebled up, and eventually it's Thurlock Carr. And again, really good work, with and without the ball has been really good, impressive from Four Masters on that occasion, Brendan. Yeah. And it's Thurlock Carr now looking to see what his options are. Yeah,
Brendan, in the tackle they've been very good, but very good at bunching and getting people around, putting the pressure on, because the ball is so wet and slippy today. If you're surrounded by players, you're going to lose the ball, so you've got to move it quick and try and avoid those situations, and that's, I suppose, what's been a hallback of Four Masters. Every one of their players seem to be enough just to back off, just to create a bit of space for themselves, so they don't end up getting a 2 or 3 scenario. They're always creating that bit of space for each other, which is a hallmark of a great side.
Absolutely, yeah, it's been very impressive. So it has, in these conditions, really difficult. But Thurlock Carr with the free kick, he plays it in. Conor McCahill gets out in front and shows good sticky hands to be able to secure that ball. He lays it back off to, I think it's Cian Gavigan. Cian Gavigan takes a touch and decides, let's give it back to Conor McCahill. He pops a lovely little ball into Senan Carr, who wins the ball out in front, spins his man and slices it, but it's going to drop short. And it's Kevin Muldoon who comes in on the ball, loose ball, soccer styles it over the bar. Of course, played a lot of soccer with Sligo Rovers, was really involved with them over the last number of years and showed a skill there to be able to direct that over the bar, Brendan.
yeah, listen, he wasn't going to bother picking that up and tapping it over, but he was confident enough just to slice it. He said the soccer would have come into play there indeed. Maybe that ball should have been held by Kern in the nets, maybe saved it, he punched it out, and it almost could have resulted in a goal. But you say Muldoon coming up there, just showing his skills on both codes to slam that over the bar, Brendan, to tie up the game with 22 minutes in.
Yeah, 22 minutes in, and every ball been keenly contested, but you have to say that Four Masters probably have the upper hand somewhat, so they have tSuilI, as you say, Brendan, struggling to get that ball up the field, and that's reflective of Dahi Gildea. We're number 14 out around the middle of the park. He's going to have a look, he puts it up, but that's going to tail high and wide. And that was a poor effort from Dahi. He'll expect to do better than that. Easy to say that up here, Brendan.
Yeah, well, it's just thinking maybe Dahi needs to come out to get on ball a bit, because he is a one player can I think punch holes certainly in any area of the pitch here for Gleann. But just maybe that's a bit of a warning about that breeze, Brendan, the way it's not directly going down in. So you see Dahi tried to put it up and just take it over, but it did tail significantly out to the right, so I suppose that's something there to watch, that it's not just going to be a foregone conclusion to hit shots from range with that, because you think Four Masters will probably create a lot of opportunities in this second half.
Absolutely. Here's Lewis McGohan with the kick, coming out around the middle of the field, contested by the big men, but Dahi Gildea picks up the break. Dahi surrounded by three Four Masters player. Cathal Boland, the judges that he has a free, bringing the ball up here now, so he is for. Interesting here now, will they bring it right in, or will they look to get a 2-pointer from outside the arc? Shane Tinney would fancy himself with this. He's a superb free kicker, so he is. So this is an important kick for him.
Yeah. Oh, he has to take the 2-pointer here, Brendan, that is for sure.
Yeah.
When that opportunity presents itself in the game with the breeze, you got to go for it. It'll be interesting to see the flight of the ball in this one now, Brendan. And in many ways, I don't think that was a foul on today. He had 2 or 3 men around him, but I didn't see any foul. So the fact that the Four Masters didn't get out of the way in time has left us opportunity now.
Yeah, Shane Tinney looking up just to the right of the posts. He lay him far left. Puts it up really high, but I don't think he's going to get it. No, again shows you what you were saying, Brendan, the strength of that breeze.
Yeah.
That is coming across the field, favouring jumping into that goals, but is coming across the field. It won't be easy to kick scores into that goals either.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I think the high one, the first one, he was so close, he just popped it up, so it couldn't really veer off. But you've seen this twice now. Gleann players have popped the ball up, looking to carry it with the breeze, but it really looks like, Bren, you really got to hit that left hand post when you're coming across, like that left footed kicker really hit it far out to bring it across. So it's definitely tailing back in. It's not just right on your back.
Yeah, so then our Four Masters back in possession with the ball with David Monaghan. He moves it across, and it's big Tiernan McBride. Tiernan McBride with the left foot takes a couple of solos, sees what his options, give it to Callum McRae. He's met by a hard tackle by Jamie McCauley, and another free to Four Masters outside the 45. Again, they'll look to play this and to see what their options are, try and get it into them 2 danger men, McCahill, Muldoon, Shannon Card, these type of guys. They're the boys that want to get on the ball. 25 minutes into the first half, and the score currently at level pegging, 1-1 to Gleann, 4 points to Four Masters, and it's that man Conor McCahill in possession of the ball. He gives it off to his inside forward buddy Senan Carr, but he loses his footing, and again you can see the conditions having that effect, but they retain possession, they're able to work it back through David Monaghan now back around the middle of the field, and it's with now their number 5, who is Ross O'Kearney. Ross O'Kearney may play the ball on to Thurlock Carr. He moves it back to, I think it's David Monaghan over the far side of the field on the far sideline, and put under a lot of pressure. Moves it back now is with Callum McRae. Callum McRae takes his couple of solos. He just seems to be able to eat the ground up. He lays it off to Kevin Muldoon. Kevin Muldoon looking to see what his options are. Everyone is marked inside. He's double marked. But again, Gleann giving away the free. I think it was Dylan McIntyre judged to have fouled the player. And this is a free just from between the top of the D and the arc. Won't be an easy kick by any accounts, but it's an opportunity maybe for Four Masters to get another score on the board.
Yeah, listen, Dylan McIntyre, I appreciate the Gleann thing. They want to hit hard, get in the tackle, Brendan, but you had 4, maybe 5 Gleann players. They had the whole scoring area blocked up, and then with that wet ball, if you can just get around the man, you will get it away, and then there would be a chance of a counter because there was nobody in the way. Four Masters were looking to break in and had players wide in it, so there's a balance between being aggressive in the tackle and then kind of using your I suppose your intuition in terms of approaching the man, because there was so many Gleann players in there that could have got around him and stripped the ball.
Yeah, but as we speak now, Thomas Carr lining up the free. Senan Carr has come over the sideline here. I don't know, did he pick up a knock or need a bit of attention? He'd be hoping to get back on the field. Thomas Carr looking over to see what the story with him. Of course, Four Masters will be happy to kind of play this at their pace until half time, but Thomas Carr sizing up the free kick. This would be a big one if he can land it. And they've made a change now, and it's Conor Meehan that's coming into the field, into the game of play for Senan Carr. Conor Meehan, again, a classy little footballer in there. I don't think Senan is out of the game, but he's standing on the sideline there, whether it's a blood sub maybe.
Yes, must be. He certainly looks like he wants to get back in that pitch as soon as possible.
And it's now in the possession of David Monaghan around the middle of the park. David played for ATU in college during the week, so he did. So again, another one of these guys playing a lot of football but playing really well, and the ball is now with Turlock Carr. He plays it across to the Ross O'Keeffe. Ross O'Keeffe plays it out to Conor Reid in possession of the ball. He's seeing what his options are. It's actually Thomas Carr. Thomas Carr gives it off to Conor McCahill. Conor McCahill sizes up his man. He looks, I want to take you on. Plays a little dink ball in, and it's back with Conor McCahill. Conor from far out in the far wing, and that's a superb score. Brilliantly played, brilliant finish. Talk about quality and confidence and ability. Brilliant from Conor.
Oh, that's the score of the day so far from McCahill against that tough breeze there. 1-2, he found the space. There was 5 Gleann tSuilI defenders there, but a wee 1-2 and he came round the side. He looked so dangerous there, man, and then keeping the composure to put Gleann Four Masters in front in this game, and he's been top drawer. Brendan, you just mentioned Senan Garcia, he's a busted nose there. I think he was just getting a bit of treatment as a blood sub, as you correctly said. Yeah,
and he's in possession of the ball here now, so he is, as he sizes up his man, looks to take him on, plays it into Kevin Muldoon. Again, he's looking at Mikey Toner wondering, will he take him on, will he come back? Forced to come back this way now, but again decides to go inside, does brilliantly to do so, slips the ball off to Tiernan McBride, but he can't keep his hands on it, and it's turned over by Gleann tSuilI as they'll try. Mikey Toner looking to see what his options are. He kicks it out here to Shane Tinney. Shane Tinney tries and slip his man, but he's been well marked, so he is, and eventually it's a free kick, and it's Dahi Gilday. He looked to solo and go. He takes it on. He's been faced by number 4 Owen O'Neill for Four Masters. Plays it back to Shane Tinney. Shane Tinney been put under a lot of pressure by Conor McCahill, back defending. Referee has his hand up for an advantage for Gleann tSuilI, so it might be worth a shot while putting the shot in. It's put in high, it's put in around the goal mouth, and Lewis McGahan now goes straight in and over the goalkeeper's head. Speculative shot over the goalkeeper's head into the back of the net. Another goal for Gleann tSuilI, and they will be much happy about that.
Yeah, Brendan, this long punted ball, and you thought it was just going to harmlessly come into the keeper's hands. I think he thought it was going to land with either the Gleann tSuilI forward or the defender in there, but it bounced over everybody, and along with the breeze, man, even though McGahan is a huge tall figure, he couldn't prevent that ball slipping into the net. And I suppose certainly from a Gleann tSuilI perspective, they'd only got the 1-1 up until this point, so a massive injection for them. It's something they needed badly, Brenda, but conditions have got so difficult here for football today. I mean, there's a roof in this small trailer run, but I think the rain has decided to go in sideways because
I'm drowned from head to toe. I don't know about you.
This is I'm sure what the players are going through. I don't want to be saying we've got challenges here, but we have definitely a few. But yeah, listen, Brendan, it just shows you the conditions. You wouldn't think a goal like that's possible, particularly with a keeper with McGahan's ability and his size. But it just shows how blustery the conditions in. But that ball hopped, that it took a serious hop, and then the breeze guided it into the net.
Yeah, and up the other end of the field now, a free has been brought forward, and Senan Carr just inside the D, pretty much centre. He looked to put this over the bar, and again, that's a good response from the Four Masters men. 6 points to 2-1, and we are 30. We're just, I'd say the referee could blow it up at any time now. We're into injury time in the first half, Brendan, so we are.
Yeah. I wish it was one of those halves that flew, but it didn't really.
No, but there's been some good football, so there has, from both sides. So there has, particularly, I think Four Masters have played some good football against that breeze, and that's very unfortunate for Lewis, but on a cold, wet day like that, you see goals like that, Brendan. And throughout the year, watching a lot of football, a lot of goals are coming from speculative balls into the square like that. Yeah, so they are. We spoke about it, Brendan.
Yeah, indeed, and it's just catching teams out, because teams are so well drilled now around their defensive setup and how they are. So they're waiting for teams to keep ball and they work the space. But sometimes you say, Brendan, that high ball in, or that shot that drops short is creating so many goal opportunities because people aren't in their normal zone. So yeah, more of that needed from Gleann tSuilI.
Yeah, and they're back in possession of the ball. The two substitutes, Mandy Kelly, Paddy Ward, doing really well to win that ball around the middle of the park, and it's back with Reid Kelly now outside the 45. He's been tagged by Tiernan McBride, looking to push him out further. Thomas Carr and their referee Cathal Boland blows the full-time whistle. Scoreline of 2 goals and 1 point to Gleann tSuilI, to Kerry Masters 6 points, and it's been a lively first half, played in atrocious conditions, both rain and wind, swirling all over the place. As you mentioned before the game, Brendan, the pitch is in fantastic position and holding up, but it is that weather is creating problems for both sides, Brendan, and they'll be glad to get in maybe and get a bit of dry kit maybe or something at half time.
Yeah, Brendan, listen, it's been very, very challenging. Say the pitch has held up well, but the conditions there is having a massive bearing on this game. But you're just looking, Brendan, it's been controlled by Four Masters. Obviously they do go on a point down at half time, but certainly they will think with that breeze, and even though it's a difficult breeze to judge, Brendan, you just think that they will find the way to start popping balls over the bar and getting the ball in around the D area there to guarantee scores. So I think the big thing with Gleann tSuilI at half time here is midfield. It's about the kick-outs and competing and fighting for them. At least, Brendan, try and get the break and then make it a fight for that ball. Make it a fight, because if Four Masters lord the kick-outs in this half, which means they'll have the lion's share of possession, there doesn't seem any way that you think that Gleann tSuilI could come and win this match. So I think at half time, Neil Geller and his backroom team, it's about that fight out round the middle. And I know, listen, they're giving away a bit of size out there now and losing the big midfielder as well, but certainly try and break ball, make it a fight, and at least try and, if you could even out the possession, at least it'll give you a bit of an opportunity to try and come after, not come after Four Masters, but try and stay with Four Masters in this second half. Because what we've seen in the first half, if Four Masters have that bit of a breeze behind them and they lord possession, you would think, it's advantage them. But listen, as we've seen with the goals, the two of them are probably fortuitous. Maybe something like that will happen as well in the match. So you never know in a one-off championship game like this, Brendan. But certainly, as I say, from what we've seen, Four Masters are the team you would think will come through in this second half.
Yeah, so from the Burn Road, half-time whistle gone. Gleann tSuilI leading by 1 point, 2 goals and 1 point, to Four Masters 6 points. And we'll welcome you back here in this Michael Murphy Under-21A Championship semi-final to Stream Sport for the second half shortly. And you're welcome back to the Burn Road in Termon for this Michael Murphy Under-21 A Championship semi-final between tSuilI and Four Masters. Currently tSuilI leading by 2 goals and a point to 6 points. Conditions were atrocious in the first half, and I have to say that they haven't really improved for much for the second half, Brendan.
Yeah, indeed. And normally at these things, Brendan, you have notes and you're making ongoing points on players and scores and that, but we're absolutely soaked here in this match. We're not able to write the other, but we will do our best to bring the action in this half our way.
Ball thrown in between Paddy Ward and Conor Reid. Conor Reid took a bit of a knock on the way down, but the ball is in the possession of Kevin Muldoon for Four Masters. Kevin Muldoon attacking down the right wing, having a look at his options. The ball drops to the fore and it's picked up by tSuilI, who've had an opportunity to counter-attack. Dahi Gildea playing very deep down. He has the ball and he moves it out, but he's swamped out by a number of Four Masters players, and eventually it's Callum McRae on the ball with the ground. There's a bit of schmozzle right down under us here, and referee says calm down, I'm going to throw the ball up, and he looks for 2 players to stand out, and again it's Paddy Ward and Conor Reid who will contest the throw-in.
Yeah, Mark Bonner coming out there, once you're travelling there and you're getting into a few tackles coming in, because of the conditions in the wet ball, it's so easy to lose possession. If you get that bit of space, you've got to move the ball, you've got to try and put up the pitch. And I think the best thing tSuilI did in the first half was that direct ball inside. And that's what I think they're going to have to do when they can get out far enough in. It's about that link play, because we're seeing with the 11v11 now, there's loads of one-on-one battles. If they can get that link play, turn and feed it inside, you think in this half they might need to conjure up a few goal opportunities. Yeah,
and Conor Reid had to go off for a quick bit of treatment, bloody nose, but ball is contested by Tiernan McBride, big strong man. He's adjudged to have been fouled. He maintains possession of the ball, gives it off. The referee says no, come back, take the free kick. So he plays it back to wing half back, can't hold it first time, number 5, who is Ross O'Keeffe for Four Masters. Plays it off to Colin McRae. It's now with Turlock Carr. He plays it off back to Ross O'Keeffe. He soccers it out to the far side of the field to Conor Reid. Conor Reid clips it up into his hands, looking to see what his options are. tSuilI getting their defensive structure into place, which forces Four Masters to come back out, but they go now through the hands, and it's with David Monaghan, Callum McRae in a bit of space over this side of the field, but the ball comes back to one of the Carr lads. He puts it up in the air. That's a massive 2-point score, so it is, and I think it was Turlock Carr who kicked that. Great start to the second half for Four Masters, Brendan.
Brilliant score from Turlock Carr, and I think, Brendan, on that, when we were looking at the breeze, when the lads were hitting, they hit it from this right hand side, and you notice Turlock Carr was more central there. He hit it with outside leg boot, a beautiful skilled shot, but he kind of went with the breeze there, Brendan, and that went over the bar. Brilliant score. What a start to have. And again, Brendan, Four Masters winning possession from the kick out, and that is such a dangerous start to the second half for them, because that man Conor Reid just lording it out there, Brendan. He's been fouled as he went for the shot, but it's going to be tough times for tSuilI, because the kick's not going to carry too far, and if Four Masters are pinning them in, it's already a very dangerous start and a chance for another 2-pointer.
And that bit of physicality that they have around the middle of the field, obviously a huge advantage of them. And you mentioned Conor Reid, what a take that was from that kick out, so it was. And it's Conor McCahill standing over the free just outside the arc. He would love a 2-pointer now. He puts it up really high. It's a brilliant effort. That is a super score from Conor McCahill, Brendan. Absolutely wonderful score, skillful player.
Yeah, what a point, Brendan. Again, what we were talking about in the first half, he's been watching those kicks from that right hand side there, and he really put the ball out that left hand post. That's what we were talking about. That ball started about 10 yards too far to the post, but the breeze, he judged the breeze brilliantly, Brendan, and what a start to the half. And again, it's pressure on there. 2 brilliant 2-pointers, and we never seen a 2-pointer from tSuilI in the first half. So for Masters to start with 2 in these early stages is a bit ominous for the tSuilI men.
Yeah, and then when a turnover in the middle of the field, initially brilliant work from the young fella Paddy Ward. Paddy Ward eventually got turned over by the swarm of bodies around him. Four Masters blue jerseys around him, and it's now a Four Masters free around in the middle of the park. So it is. Referee is having a word with one of the tSuilI players. I think it's Shane Tinney that he's having a word with. There wasn't too much going on. Bandishes a yellow card maybe for consecutive fouls, because he was involved in a couple in the first half maybe for Shane. And it's Turlock Carr standing over the free. Looks to see what his options are. Referee just tells him we're ready to go. Conor McCahill makes good movement, makes a good run inside, but Turlock is just going to let this in and see what happens. It goes really in deep, and it's played, eventually ends up with the centre half back for tSuilI, who's Mikey Toner. Mikey plays it out here out the field to Shane Tinney, playing very deep in his own half of the field. They're going to have to work this ball really well through the hands to get it up the field in the second half. Reid Kelly involved in the action here now. He gives it to his corner back, who is Liam McGinley, got senior experience this year, and the referee has adjudged that they have overcarried. Bit harsh on that occasion. I think we're taking conditions into consideration, but albeit it's a free to four Masters right of the post here, right under us here, and it's Conor McCahill who wants to come up. No, it's not. It's Thomas Carr who has the ball in his hand. Senan, his brother, no, Turlock, his other brother, is looking to take it off him, but he eventually plays the ball into Conor McCahill. Conor McCahill, faced by a number of tSuilI defenders, he plays it into Thomas Carr, but he's again outworked by Paddy Ward, who does really well. Paddy solos and goes and tries to work the ball up the field, but again been put under huge pressure by this press that is coming from four Masters. That's really good play, so it is, from tSuilI to get the ball, and it's Dahi Gildea again playing very deep out around the middle of the field. They'll need him to be getting scores in this second half. He takes solos up the far side of the field, looking what his options are. Has a look in, he's going for a big one here, he puts it in, it's going to drop short into Lewis McGahan. Lewis McGahan wins it, shows a good steady pair of hands, and moves the ball out the far side of the field as four Masters try and conjure up something here, so they have a bit of space now, so they have, because tSuilI committed men on that last attack, and the ball goes into Senan Carr. Senan Carr does really well to win that ball first half, faced by a number of tSuilI defenders, plays it into Conor McCahill, his inside forward buddy. Conor tries to pick it up, but he's been put under pressure, so he's over the far corner. Not much on him, not much he can do over there. He'll have to work the ball around. Does really well to maintain possession despite the big pressure that's been put on him. He plays it out around the middle of the field, and now it's with one of the Carr lads again. Is it Turlock or Thomas Carr? Very hard to ascertain with the rain coming down, and it's the midfielder Thomas Carr. Back now to Senan. Senan takes a bit of a bell, tries to win it, but it's turned over by tSuilI, and really difficult conditions, Brendan.
Yeah, it's hugely difficult to say, man. You feel for the players out there, because this isn't about anybody's skill or their ability on the ball. It's just underfoot conditions. Added to that, the breeze. But just seeing there's a very coordinated press from four Masters off the ball as well, Brendan. You look at it, they seem to always have two or three players ready to engage in the tackle, and that's why when tSuilI get the ball, you got to be able to do a lot of work when you have it, to drop the shoulder, make a bit of space, make sure you use the ball quickly to try and create that wee bit of a gap so you can get play up the pitch.
Yeah, and the ball was spread across the far side of the pitch by Mark Boner, and again it's another opportunity, but it's going to drop in, and it's dropped into again to Lewis McGahan. That's a couple of times in the second half that they've had half opportunities, but Lewis McGahan has picked it up. But the ball now comes to Owen Scott. He plays a quick 1-2, so he does an opportunity for a score here from Owen Scott. He put it up high, and that's a brilliant score from Owen Scott, the centre half forward, to get tSuilI back in the game. 2-2 tSuilI, 10 points.
Yeah, and listen, unusual for Masters to giving away the ball there, Brendan, coming out to giving it straight back to tSuilI. And that turnover ball is so dangerous, because you're kind of on the back foot straight away. And they, in fairness, he was taking the shots on there, Brendan, but against that breeze, it was outside the range, and it fell very easy into the arms of McGahan in the goal. But that time, as you say, a great 1-2. And a simple score for tSuilI. And just on that right hand kind of channel, Brendan, it seems the best area to kick into that breeze. That's where four Masters got their points in the first half.
Absolutely, yeah. You've Conor McCahill, Senan Carr all kicking scores from that wee pocket of space over the far side of the field. Ball back in the possession now of four Masters. Keelan Sweeney in possession of the ball over the far side of the field. He looks to find, but it's intercepted by the tSuilI defender, and it goes out for a sideline kick for four Masters. Senan Carr standing over the ball, currently looking to see what his options are. He leaves it back down, and Tiernan McBride over this side of the field, so he's making a run, nothing really happening on, and the ball is played out, and it's with Callum McRae. Callum McRae keeps it, touches, gives it to Conor Reid. Conor Reid moves the ball to Turlock Carr. Turlock Carr coming across the field, seeing what his options are. Conor McCahill presented himself, but it wasn't on. Eventually it comes to Conor McCahill, and that ball is went right in deep, and there was a four Masters player right under it, just couldn't control it. I think it was it Conor McCahill? No, it was one of the Carr lads. Yeah,
you just look in the first half there, for Masters obviously had to work the ball, very comfortable with the ball. They kept probing, they got the space. This half, you can see, Bryn, they're happy enough to let it in direct. They realise that there's one-on-one battles in there, and if they can get the ball inside, it's a quicker way for them to get a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, and again, TsuilI, our Four Masters is judged to have slid in on the ball there. Cathal Boland gives a free to TsuilI. Ball is in possession of Dahi Gildea. He's immediately surrounded by four Masters. Does really well to get the ball off to his colleague Owen Scott, but he's under so much pressure, can't do anything. But eventually the ref brings it back. He was playing advantage. It's a TsuilI free right in the middle of the field, and Dahi Gildea takes ownership of the ball.
Yeah, just bring on that. You look at the organisation of Four Masters. They have 4 men around Dahi Gildea, and that's what we're on about. You got to move the ball quick, because Four Masters are very much, you can see that they're targeting group. You look at it here now, ball comes into the corner forward, always got a spare man there, always got at least 2 coming into the tackle. They've given away the foul on this instance, so, but you can see, and as a group, you know, it's not something that's just happening on the pitch here. They're really targeting that group tackle, get in around the man. You know, in a day like today, you're going to get your the ball stripped away from you. So, you know, there's so much to be admired about Four Masters here, but certainly say even that element of tackling in numbers looks like they really have worked a tremendous amount on that.
Yeah, you can see them setting them traps for them, and you know, but you have to give great credit to TsuilI for their battling qualities. They're battling for everything, so they are an opportunity here. Over on the far side for Shane Tinney, he missed one from a similar position in the first half. This one is taken from his hands, has a look up, excellent thief taker, post, and it just tails far of the post and just wide. Difficult kick in the conditions from that angle.
Yeah, difficult, Brendan. And you're just looking at tSuilI there, you know, as you say, Brendan, you can see that they're still in this game. Obviously, only a couple of points in it, but the fight is there. But when they're on the break, Brendan, they've got to make the most of that. And you just wonder, with some of those frees, would you be better working it short, because it was a tight angle to put that over against that breeze. But you can see just from half time there, tSuilI are fighting for every single ball here, and they're not going to give this up by no shape or form. Even though Four Masters did start with them 2 pointers, tSuilI have really come back at them again in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and you have the effort there and the ability of Owen Scott under huge pressure to get that ball away, eventually working it to Reid Kelly. He plays the ball inside, an opportunity here, but can't be just held. Lewis McGahan does well, comes out, steadies the ship, gets the ball back through the hands of Four Masters with an opportunity to work the ball up the field. But again, tSuilI putting the pressure on and able to turn it over, and I think that's the fullback Jimmy McCauley right up there, moving it back to Paddy Ward. Couple of men over on this side, bit of an overload if they can move the ball out quicker. Paddy Ward moves it off here now, and it's with Mark Boner. Mark Boner, spectacular year for his seniors this year. Takes a couple of solos, takes a bit of the steam out of the game, because it has been pretty helter-skelter for the first.
Yeah, and they don't have to go for it yet, man. There's only a couple of points in it, so that's sensible play from tSuilI. For Masters are sitting very deep, inviting them on. But yeah, work the ball, work the score, try and make it a 1-point game.
And it's Owen, ball in the hand of Owen Scott. He puts it up high, but the wind takes hold of it, and it's going to tail to the left and well wide. And they worked the ball into the correct area that we spoke about, Brendan, that little pocket of space over the far side, but the wind just blew at that stage and took it away.
See, that's 3 attempts tSuilI have had from distance, Brendan. It's not going to really carry. You know, you've got to work it in. You've got to try and get inside. There's another blood sub just coming off the pitch for
Keelan Sweeney gone off. Had a brilliant game, tough, robust player, aggressive in the tackle, but he's a bloody nose. So Four Masters will look to get someone into cover for him. Yeah,
and just on what, you know, particularly after the start of this first half of the 2 pointers, you'd think, right, Four Masters are going to take control here. There's been a real bite back from tSuilI. They've probably created as many opportunities in the opening 10 of the second half than they did for points in the first half. We're just 13 and a half minutes in. So yeah, you see the fight there, Brendan. Games can take shapes like that there. Now tSuilI have the bit between the teeth, but I think when they get up, Brendan, they got to work the ball in closer. You know, they've had 4 opportunities from distance here, 3 from playing, 1 from a free that have tailed short.
And here's the blood sub that's come on. He plays the ball into Conor McCahill, and it's across the goal, but the keeper goes really well. Brilliant play from the tSuilI keeper, Keelan Curran. Brave goalkeeping, getting out, reading the danger and snuffing it out. tSuilI with an opportunity to bring the ball up. Best goal opportunity for Four Masters, Brendan.
Yeah, a huge opportunity. Brilliant from Keelan Curran. He read the ball well. tSuilI were exposed there at the back. back, it looked like the fisted ball was going to come across and it was going to be put in the back in the net, but you say Keelan Curran there reading it well, coming out, making the ball his and then winning the foul. And again, when you look at Glen Swilly here now, they've got to move the ball very quick because Four Masters are coming after them. They get turnover ball in there, they're going to be under pressure, and I think they've been quite lucky for me now with Cathal Boland and some of those fouls that when they've been put under pressure, because I haven't seen a lot wrong with them. But
I agree with you, Brendan. I thought a couple of soft ones there now, so there were, but
got to move it quick, Brendan. You got to just look at here now. You can see Four Masters are squeezing in again. Move it quick, coming at pace, just like they've done here, and they can build up from there.
And they're forcing another turnover, and to be fair to Four Masters, they're putting huge pressure on that ball in the middle third, and now have the substitute, the blood sub that came in, and he puts it into the back of the net. What a blood sub that is, and it's number 27, Daniel McIntyre, and again that comes from the turnover around the middle of the field. Keelan Sweeney getting ready to come back into the game, stuffs up on his nose. That was a brilliant little cameo from the number 27 coming into the game.
If you're going to come on for a blood sub, put the ball in the back of the net when you're on there. You can't ask for more than that from McIntyre, all right, Brendan. But again, very unfortunate because the Glen Swilly man literally slipped on the ball there. The ball was on the ground, and at the end, I think he might have just put his hand on it, which gave the free inside, Brendan. And because Glen Swilly were on the break, they had to push numbers up the pitch, and there was a 2-on-1 situation. But as you said there, McIntyre wasn't going to hold back. He was going to take the opportunity. There was certainly a fisted ball across, but he planted it into the roof of the net, and that's a real hammer blow to Glen Swilly, who really had been making a fist of it.
Yeah, and there's indicative of the conditions again. The kick out from the Glen Swilly goalkeeper Keelan Curran didn't come outside the arc, and that will be a free in front of the goals for Conor McCahill from Four Masters.
That's a bit ridiculous, the fact that the player can't come in and take that there on these circumstances.
Yes,
you know? I mean, the defender, what was he going to do there? He has to take the ball. I mean,
and that was always a risk with them rules, so it was, as we go on to the air. Conor Cahill puts that high up the air, and surprisingly it goes to the left and wide. Just on that change, Keelan Sweeney has come back into the game, so he has, and he's replaced the young Cian Gavigan, wearing number 7, who had a really fine game for Four Masters today, particularly in the first half. Got on a lot of ball. So McIntyre, as a result of his goal, gets to keep his place on the team. Yeah,
well, it'll be hard to take him off now, Brent, all right, if he's put the ball in the back of the net. So listen, fair play to him, because I just felt up in that moment when Glen Swilly were really coming in the game. They were starting to have possession. They were creating opportunities and certainly putting up a great fight. But that was a cruel blow to them, because if anything on the break there, they're the ones who probably needed the goal.
Yeah, and it's Glen Swilly now who win this kick out, and it's Dahi Gildea again having to come out very deep to get his hands on the ball and try and create something, and the ball is played out over here to this wing with Mikey Toner. Mikey plays it to his left half back, Pádraig Devine. Pádraig Devine played senior for Glen Swilly this year. Back to Owen Scott. Owen Scott, of course, got 2 goals against Naomh Connell in one of the earlier group match in the senior championship out in Glen Swilly. And the ball now back with Aidan Friel. Aidan Friel, of course, Four Masters have plenty of men back. It's going to be very difficult to create something here for Glen Swilly, but Owen Scott, if there's one man can knock that defence, it's Owen Scott.
Yes, indeed. And when you look at it now, as you say, in the Four Masters mindset now, don't concede goals and we'll win this match, because 2-pointers aren't an option against that breeze. So they'll be thinking with Glen Swilly, with 1-pointer, it's going to be very hard for them to get back into this, and that's why they can sit deep there, and you can see they've packed their whole area inside there, making sure that there's no easy goal opportunities.
Yeah, and the ball now has worked its way to Mark Boner. He finds it out to his colleague, and it ends up back in his hands. Back out here now with Mandy Kelly. Mandy Kelly plays the ball back out to Mikey Toner. Mikey, we're number 6, playing centre back. Come up and he get it to Shane Tenney. These are the guys that want to get on the ball. They want to get the shooters on the ball in this area, but it's difficult to angle the score from it. That's a super score from Mark Boner, so it is again really well worked. This Glen Swilly team won't go away. There's plenty of fight in them.
Yeah, well, that's what they got to do there. They came across the right hand side. They went into that left corner. They recycled the ball back out, but wait. Keep playing the ball around, because you will get somebody, you will get a gap away. Don't go for that automatic first shot when you see the goals, particularly from distance for that breeze. Get it into somewhere around the D, and then when you're able to control the ball against that breeze, because if you're hitting it from any further out, you've got to put it up high into the air, and it's going to tail away. So it's about getting in close enough that you can put your foot through the ball and you can still guide it and judge the breeze. So yeah, listen, good score, Brennan, just bringing it back now, so it's 9 points to 13. So listen, again, as we mentioned at half time, just going into half time, it's about this kick out now. Can Gleann make the fight out here, at least break ball and try and gain possession?
Yeah, substituting the Gleann team, Oisín McGrenner coming into the game for Aidan Friel, young exciting player Oisín, looking to make a difference coming in here, and that's picked up by Owen Scott. Owen Scott moves the ball to his full forward, Dahi Gilday again. Been put on every ball, everything has been contested out there. Really, really difficult, and you have to give great credit to both sides to be able to put in the effort that they have done today. But again, it's that middle press of Four Masters that are able to get the turnover and secure possession of the ball again. But can they keep it? And the ball now is with Four Masters back in their own back line, but they move it out of the trouble and they have a bit of space now to get up the field, and they'll be looking to get a score here, so they will.
Yeah, we've got that 4-point cushion now, Brennan, so they're going to be thinking, listen, can we tag on a few scores? But again, conditions are poor, and again it's a turnover ball, completely accidental. Four Masters man slipping. Gleann have it.
Gleann have it, and Paddy Ward, who came into the game early as an early substitute, has done really well, so it has given that bit of physicality to Gleann around the middle of the field. Ball working now to its way out to this wing. Gleann look to try and create something, trailing by 4 points. Gleann 2 goals and 3 points. Four Masters 1 goal and 10 points. And the ball is now with Mark Bonner. The lead, he'll take ownership and leadership of this team here. He's eventually fouled, and it's Conor McCahill back in his own line, and that's a forwards tackle.
Yeah, forwards tackle is right, Brendan. But listen, from this distance now, Four Masters just looking, every player there stand up, hold them back, and make sure they don't get in around the house. And you can see the covers in there before Masters. They've got double sweepers right across those danger areas, so they're saying, listen, keep them at bay, make it an awkward shot for a point, and don't give away a goal. This could be the danger ball.
Ball goes in high from Owen Scott. It's a scramble for possession on the ground, but eventually it's a Four Masters player that gets his hands on the ball. He's fouled, a couple of fouls in their Cahill Bowl, and going in to speak to someone. But that was well defended. They had the bodies back there, as you mentioned, Brendan. Double sweepers moving back as soon as they saw Owen Scott was going to take a shot at goal. They knew it was going to drop short, and they were in the correct position to be able to deal with it.
You know what, Brendan? It looks like it could be a dangerous tactic there, because there was a Gleann boot that swung in that. It could have went back into the back of the net. You're thinking something like that is what they're going to need in this half. Man, high ball and breaks in the conditions, and someone put it in the back of the net. I know at the minute, say there's only 4 points in it, but you think that the way Four Masters, the dangers that they have up the other end of the pitch at Gleann might need a goal in this half.
Yeah, they will, and that kick out from just goes out over the line here. Paddy Ward just under us, gives it off to a centre half back, Mikey Toner, but that's turned over, and an opportunity now for Four Masters perhaps to get up the field. But Cahill Boland wants to speak to Mikey Toner. There wasn't much in it again, so it'll be nothing more than a yellow card, I would imagine, Brendan.
Yeah, it was a soft one again, Brendan. The conditions, the ball was just behind him a small, but he went to retrieve it, and just too close a contact, giving Four Masters back possession. So
Turlock Carr looking around, see what his options are. That man shows again, showing all day, really played a really good game. Conor McCahill for Four Masters. Ball moves its way now, and it's with Kevin Muldoon. Kevin plays it across, and it's with Conor Reid now over the far side of the field, so it is, and he plays it on, but he's eventually turned over, and tSuilI with another opportunity to get up the field, so they have, and they are really making this very difficult. They're going to fight for this, so they are to the last whistle. You get that tSuilI heart, and again ball slips loose because of the conditions, and it's a free for Four Masters. As I noticed below him here, they're looking to bring on another couple of subs. Number 26, who is Thomas Lenihan, of course played in the minor final a couple of weeks ago, scored a hat-trick in 10 minutes, so he did that day, Brendan. And number 24 is Leo McGowan.
A hat-trick in 10 minutes, not too bad.
Yeah,
it's a dangerous man to be coming in, Brendan. We have 6 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I guess just looking, as we said, as we spoke before the match to you, about the depth of squad here, this is probably something, I suppose, from a Gleann point of view, you would want somebody coming in to kind of try and haul back this 4-point lead, but it's Four Masters who are bringing in some serious talent here as well as this game opens up.
Yeah, and it's Tiernan McBride and Ross O'Keeffe that make way for them. 2 changes for Four Masters. Thomas Lenihan looks different than he looked that day. I'm not sure if it is him, but we'll go with it anyway for the numbers, and that's a huge score. So I think it was Senan Carr over the far side of the field.
Yes.
And it's a 2-pointer actually. That's a huge score. Senan again showing the leadership and the quality that he has.
And you know what, Ben, from that other side, that's the side to shoot from really, because it's carried across, so particularly from a right foot where Senan was there, he guided that brilliantly over the bar. And you know, for all the attempts there and all the work against tSuilI, that's a hammer blow and a big score in this match. That's the third 2-pointer of the half for the Four Masters men.
And it opens up a 6-point lead, so this is getting crucial for tSuilI. They really probably think at this stage that they're going to need a goal, Brendan, of some sort. It doesn't have to be a great one, a bad goal to do so to get them back into it.
Yeah, certainly. I'll put her in the mixer there now, Brendan. That's what they're going to need.
So number 18, Mandy Kelly, puts it, but that's a poor attempt. And again, it's picked up by Lewis McGaughan, who was certainly amended for his error in the first half. He's picked up ball and dealt with everything that's been put into him.
Yeah, he's been solid. I think, Mandy, I wondered, did somebody get a hand in that, Brendan? But that was a good position, just to loft the ball in to try and create a goal chance. But again, Brendan, conditions is tough.
Turlock Carroll, possession of the ball. He just needs to be able to worm his way out of tackle, so he does when he's surrounded by tSuilI players. But eventually tSuilI, through their hard work, get the turnover, and it's in the hands here of the number 19. He's been put under pressure by Thomas Carr. Moves the ball, but it comes back to him. Moves the ball out to the far side of the field, and it's Owen Scott. Owen has been instrumental in this resurgent tSuilI revival in the second half. He plays it back to Dahi Gilday, who's done all his good work out around the middle of the field, so he has to try and secure possession, get hands on that O'Neill's for tSuilI. They move it through the hands, and especially back to Mark Boner. Mark Boner looks up, see what his options are. It's played into Aidan Friel inside. Aidan comes out, beats one tackle, beats two. No, it's actually, is it Mandy Kelly? He plays it off, and it's with Shane Tinney. This is an opportunity. No, Oisin McGrenna with his left foot, but he's just under too much pressure at the time, and the ball just goes out for a 45, I think, for tSuilI, Brendan. Yeah,
listen, that's the wee opportunities you're looking to try and create that goal chance, and maybe there's a chance to soccer that, as you and Mac used to say, to soccer towards the goal there, because it looks like any attempt you can have at a goal late on like that, when you got to kind of go for it. And once it went out wide there and the ball was actually picked up, I could hear people shouting pick it up. I think it'd be better just to lace that on the ground, particularly in these wet days. Try and put it on that far corner, because once it was picked up, it was a bad angle and there was loads of Four Masters bodies in the way. So it must have been an advantage to tSuilI, because Dahi Gilday has an opportunity now. He puts it in. It was an attempt. It was a poor attempt, but it just dropped short, and maybe a half goal opportunity if could have got something on it, but well defended from Four Masters, and they move it brilliantly out through the hands. Conor McCahill playing deep, Keelan Sweeney involved. Conor now decides to carry the ball for a bit, has a head up just to see what his options are inside, sees there's nothing on, so decides to continue with the carry on, and it's back in his hands again, and they give it off to the substitute, and then eventually works his way to Conor Reid, but the ball is intercepted there by Mark Boner, back doing defensive duties, and he's able to turn it over to give an opportunity for tSuilI to get back up the field. But he's a lot of work to do, because he's been put under so much pressure by so many Four Masters players, eventually forced that he's to soccer it in, but it's won by Colin McRae. Referee brings it back for advantage, so nothing out of that for tSuilI. On the clock we've 27 minutes, so maybe 3 minutes remaining, Brendan, and it's going to be difficult for tSuilI to get on things. Yeah, listen, Brendan, it's kind of how the whole half has been a tremendous amount of heart and effort from tSuilI, but you just had that danger from Four Masters on the break, and that quality that we knew that you're going to possess, probably in the early part of the half, when tSuilI had them few points from distance, those areas. Should they have worked the ball in? I think that's probably where they'll look back when you assess this half. Is, those 4 attempts that all dropped short. Maybe been better work done trying to get at least a point from them. Red cards just come out. Yeah, red card for Shane Tinney, his second yellow, so for pulling and dragging that time. So tSuilI down to 14 men, bit of frustration, bit of just, what else am I supposed to do here? So unfortunate for Shane, but ball in possession of Four Masters, and it's Senan Carr looking to see what his options are. He'll know that they just need to keep possession of the ball, try and create a scoring opportunity, but that they're nearly home and hose, and this is an opportunity for them now. Conor McCahill, backdoor cut, but
referee adjudges that there was an overcarrying again. And I think that's again a bit harsh, Brendan, you know, with conditions and everything taken into context.
Yeah, certainly. And listen, you just mentioned Carr there. You look at him on the ball, man, he's so classy when he gets that ball. It's in, and he drops the shoulder, he's in, he's so far ahead of his man. So has McCahill been, like when you've looked to attack and get either the direct ball inside or the link man. Those two guys have been so far ahead of their men. You know, they're top drawer footballers, and that's what we were talking about from the start. There just was, particularly you know, in them forward bursts, you know, you have players of such ability there in Four Masters. So you know, it's testament to tSuilI that they put up such a fight in this game, Brendan, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of fight and effort, it's been everything you'd want from your team. You're just up against a team with an unbelievable amount of array of talent all over it.
Yeah, and you know, over the last number of years at underage level, Four Masters have been a nemesis for this tSuilI young teams coming through, so they have, and Four Masters have put an awful lot of silverware in their trophy cabinet down through the years, but it's not all about trophies, Brendan, so it's not, and tSuilI will be happy to be able to be contesting. You know, of course you want to win trophies, you want to win cups with teams, but to be able to contest at this level of football will bring them a lot of solace, so it will.
Yeah, well, listen, in my time of watching sport here in Donegal, I've never seen anything like what Four Masters have been bringing through. You know, that's what most teams will have a certain level of ability, and you'll have a couple of star players, and you know, you'll have your weaknesses, but you look at Four Masters here, there just doesn't seem to be much of a weakness in there. As I say, massive array of talent, and it's, as I say, it's everything that tSuilI have done just to stay in this game, and they have you know, competed admirably.
Yeah, and there's another opportunity, just comes off the upright again. Them two men, Sin and Carr, Conor McCall, absolutely quality players and a joy to watch, so they are, and linking up really well to set up that opportunity that just came back off the upright, but eventually it works its way out for 45 for Four Masters.
And we're time added on now, we're 1 minute into it, Brendan. So
well, I don't know about you, Brendan, I'll not be too sorry.
Well, yeah,
my hands are frozen, I can see nothing out of my spectacles.
It'd be good, Craig, if it had been that tight and went to extra time, we would have been we'd have needed the hot bath this evening, I'll tell you.
And again, tSuilI, through pure work and endeavour, are able to get a turnover to work the ball up the field, but with the condition, it's just so hard to get it up. And you have to say too, with the work rate from Four Masters, absolutely phenomenal work rate around that middle third, when they're not in possession of the ball, they know how to work, they know how to create difficulty for the other team when in possession of the ball.
Yeah, and do you know what, Brendan, they're well coached, but they're not machine-like. You know, they've still got the flair within it. When they're out of possession, they squeeze together and they're very good in the tackle. But when they get the ball, they let the flair play, they let their players play as well. So, you know, they've got a couple of elements to them. They're a lovely team to watch. Like, there's so much talent out there as well. And as I say, in all my time watching sport, I've never seen a group of players like dominate so much in terms of underage, and then that breeds, man. I suppose, you know, when you've won at 16 and minor and that, you're coming through. These players are developing. They're just getting better.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not as if it's very hard to catch up on it, because they're improving all the time as well. And like, so many of them have played for Donegal as well, and are at that level, and are flying for Abbey as well. So, you know, that's what makes it such a difficult
fact, Brendan, that they've
game.
been doing it outside the county. This team has gone on and won 2 Ulster minor titles, so they have. We see Abbey VS competing at that very top level in McCrory Cup, so, you know, it's a huge development curve for this Four Master side, and there's huge expectations.
Yes indeed. And listen, I suppose from a Donegal perspective, you know, you'd be looking, they're going to obviously provide some great footballers for the county as well. Obviously they have done that at underage, but now starting to come through into senior as well.
Yeah, and there goes the final whistle from Cahill Boland, ending on a scoreline: tSuilI 2-4, Four Masters victors on 1 goal and 12 points, 15 points to 10. Deserved winners, Four Masters on the day. Just had that extra bit of quality. We spoke about it during the game. Just had that bit, but you have to give great kudos to the tSuilI team, who fought forever. They made it really difficult for Four Masters the whole way too, Brendan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So on that, we're going to sign off here, because we're soaked to the skin. We're absolutely drowned.
We'll not
numb
debate
with
this
the
one.
cold, and our cameraman here, Nevin here, wants to go
Good
home
man,
too.
Nevin. That was a challenge. Well done, everybody.
Well done. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
super score from Conor McCahon, and that just shows you the quality they have. Seeing what his options are, takes a couple, shrugs off a couple of challenges, beats them and puts it over the bar. Brilliant start for Dahi Gildea. We spoke about Conor McCahon. Does well to get out in front of his man. He plays it back to Reid Kelly. Reid Kelly puts the ball in. Owen Scott lurking about in there, but there is another man in there, and it's the number 19, Matthew Enright. He has a chance of a goal. He slams it. He does his first, not on his first attempt, his second attempt, ends up on the back of the net. A huge car to his brother sending car. He takes his man on. He has advantage, and he just goes through the centre of the defence and puts it over the bar. Good response to the goal from on the far side of the field. Brilliantly worked score from Four Masters. That is quality football on that conditions, Brendan.
Yes, indeed.
But it's going to drop short, and it's Kevin Muldoon who comes in on the ball, loose ball in, and it's back with Conor McCahon. Conor from far out in the far wing, and that's a superb score. Brilliantly played, brilliant finish. Defending referee has his hand up for an advantage for tSuilI, so it might be worth a shot while putting the shot in. It's put in high, it's put in around the goal mouth, and Lewis McGahan now goes straight in and over the goalkeeper's head. Speculative shot over the goalkeeper's head. He'll look to put this over the bar, and again that's a good response from the Four Masters men. 6 points to 2-1, and we are puts it up in the air. That's a massive 2-point score, so it is. And I think it was Turlock Carr who kicked that. Great start to the second half for Four Masters, Brendan. Puts it up really high. It's a brilliant effort. That is a super score from Conor McCahon, Brendan. Absolutely wonderful score. But the ball now comes to Owen Scott. He plays a quick 1-2, so he does an opportunity for a score here from Owen Scott. He put it up high, and that's a brilliant score from Owen Scott.
Just what they've done here, and they can build up from there.
And they're forcing another turnover, and to be fair to Four Masters, they're putting huge pressure on that ball in the middle third, and now they have the substitute, the blood sub that came in, and he puts it into the back of the net. What a blood sub that is, and it's angle to score from it. That's a super score from Mark Boner, so it is again really well worked. This tSuilI team won't go away. There's plenty of fight in them.
Yeah, well, that's
Lenihan looks different than he looked that day. I'm not sure if it is him, but we'll go with it anyway for the numbers, and that's a huge score. So the testing at this level of football will bring them a lot of solace, so it will.
Yeah, well, listen, in my time of watching sport here in Donegal,